Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 134 of Sleep and Relax ASMR. So, this episode will be similar to the one I did called What's in a Name? I was going to say the purpose, it's not really the purpose, but the goal of the series is I basically start uttering random sentences and phrases about a general topic, and it'll be distracting and disorienting, and the goal is for it to quite literally make you snooze off or sort of help you just unplug and not focus on whatever's bothering you today. So I'm actually currently in the office right now. You can probably hear footsteps in the back, the coffee machine, whispering voices, the fax machines. I've noticed that there are specific sounds that just jump out to me during certain days while I'm at the office. I almost exclusively listen to the whispered voices on most days. I just try to figure out who's saying what. You know, it's kind of like a not because I need to know, but I'm just curious. On most days it's Alex, since he's the one who loves to gossip and chat with coworkers here. But it's not a bad thing. He doesn't say anything negative. He just kind of likes to keep us informed and likes to chat about whatever may come to his mind. I actually don't know what Alex does here. I think he works in marketing. What that actually entails is beyond me. His official role or title, I think, might be account manager. Well, maybe that doesn't make sense. I honestly have no idea what it is Alex does here, but he does like to chat. He has this lovely corner office that overlooks the city, and you can see the traffic and pedestrians down below, and it's just a dream spot. I've got a cubicle. On my left is Dan, on my right is Trish, and they're great. They're great coworkers. I partially say that because they're both next to me now and they might be able to hear me, but in all fairness, they are great. A sound I adore at the office is the sound of coffee being made. I'm sure if you listen closely, you'll probably hear the coffee machine go off a few times. And I love the smell of coffee, but sometimes I'll drink tea. Recently I've gotten into tea. I even bought a new kettle that boils up the water pretty quickly. And I just love the process of opening a packet and getting this lovely, tea and letting the tea bag steep for a few minutes. Occasionally I will add milk. Milk in my coffee is something that I switch or fluctuate on in terms of whether I want it or not. Some days I'll only take my coffee black. Some days I will only take my coffee with milk. So I'm not sure why my tastes sort of fluctuate. Maybe it's depending on the mood. Maybe it's the time. At home it's only black coffee. I don't even think I don't even think about putting milk or cream in my coffee when I'm at home. And now I'm wondering if there's such thing as a tea machine, because I've never heard of one. Can someone make one and just send it to me? I'll buy it, actually, at a fair price. But how great would that be if you had an instant tea machine? You just pack loose tea into the filters that steep in the water, and then pour the tea out, and it's just steeped and ready for consumption. Yeah, maybe it's been made, but I really haven't seen one. I certainly haven't seen one around here. Senior executives around here haven't mentioned the possibility, but you can always dream. I don't think they want me to come up asking them about tea machines and not about relevant work items. I kind of wish I had a corner office. You know, occasionally, as you might be able to pick up from the background noise, it can get pretty busy in here. Today isn't so bad, which is why I'm able to record. I'm mostly just blocking out the background noises with different filters and techniques I have here, but sometimes you just want to kick your feet up and or lay down for a few minutes, and I can't do that on my cubicle. I mean, I could try, I guess, but it would probably be frowned upon. I'll ask Dan later if he would mind if I lay down on my cubicle. What's that? Oh, you heard me. Can I lay out here? No. Well, he's nodding his head yes, or he's nodding it up and down. So I'm not sure if he's saying yes, you can just go and lay down on the cubicle. It's not a big deal. Or if he's saying yes, I do mind. Please don't lay down on the cubicle next to me. Much appreciated, coworker. Sometimes when I get distracted, I like to head to the kitchen for a moment and help clean up a bit. We all have the responsibility of cleaning up the kitchen, so for me personally it helps to clear my mind and helps me refresh a bit. Maybe instead I'll just start recording an episode for the podcast whenever I need a little break, and maybe I'll just release them as sort of mini episodes. I'm obviously not supposed to be recording, but, here I am, and I'm getting away with it for now, and I think afterwards I'll be happier, and I'll be more productive for the rest of the day. I think the way I see it is some people during lunch, they have their exercise, others do yoga. For me, I think it could be this podcast, and at the end of the day, I do enjoy what I do for work, but sometimes it's nice. The podcast is obviously a passion of mine. It's a passion project that has really turned into something quite interesting, because I get a lot of emails and I get suggestions and complimentary notes and all that. So why can't I just take 10, 15, 25 minutes to sort of record an episode, and it'll probably help my productivity. I think Trish is looking over here because, what's that? Trish does not think I should be recording an episode for the podcast, but maybe this will be the first time and last time. But if you guys enjoy these kind of episodes, then I can do them again in the future. Coffee machine here should be replaced pretty soon. It's an older one. I'm going to do a quick Google search, see if I can make a recommendation on what we can buy. Let's see what I get here. Just curious, because it's again, it's a very very old machine. Maybe I can make a recommendation. Maybe instead of making the recommendation for a tea machine, maybe I can recommend to senior execs on what new coffee machine we should be getting. One of them that or a brand that I've heard of is a Philips Seiko espresso machine, just for strong shot of espresso coffee in the workplace. But maybe more something like a Ninja coffee maker. The one that Sofia Vergara used to advertise on commercials. Maybe that's a good option. I haven't seen that commercial in a while. Maybe Sofia Vergara didn't work as the face of the commercial, but who knows? I wonder what that process is like. How do you get Sofia Vergara to be in your commercial? I'm going to send an email to marketing to ask about getting Sofia Vergara on a commercial. Maybe it's Alex I have to speak to. But I'll settle for a lesser celebrity, but that'd be cool. She probably won't go for it, but either way, she's a big star, and I think it's okay. I see Jeff at his desk. That's a surprise. He's almost always in the kitchen making coffee. He uses 5 packets of Splenda in his coffee every single time. I know, it's unbelievable. 5 packets of Splenda, no cream or milk. It's just 5 packets of Splenda. And when I ask him why 5 packets of Splenda, he just says, it's perfect. I disagree. Now I think I see Lisa by the photocopy machine. I just hate the sound of that machine. It's frustrating. I don't know. It's just one of those noises that is not inherently bad or distracting. It's there. It's like white noise in my ear. I kind of hate that sound. Staplers stapling papers together is another sound that always distracts me. Doesn't that sound like a tongue twister? Staplers stapling papers. Staplers stapling papers. I think I might have just invented a new tongue twister. Now that gets me curious about tongue twisters. I can understand why they're called tongue twisters. I'm just curious who came up with the idea of a tongue twister. In high school, when I used to do some theater in high school, and we would always warm up by doing a few tongue twisters. First very at a low volume, let's say, just sort of regular speaking voices, and then we'll get a little higher, so that you sort of get your voice ready to be on stage. I think my favorite play I did was we did a rendition of Peter Pan, which again for me was a lot of fun. I was mostly just an extra, and they had me rotate in a few roles, but that's okay. You know, I wasn't a star. You don't have to be a star to enjoy it. The star's name was his name was actually Alex. It's not Alex from The Office. I don't work with that Alex, but Alex played Peter Pan when we were in 10th grade. And he did a great job. I mean, he was really wonderful in that role. Now I was trying to think of my lines from that production, but to be honest, I couldn't even tell you what roles I was playing, because I think I had 3 or 4 minor extra roles. I was also in a theater production for the Chronicles of Narnia, in which I played. It was quite interesting. I was for how embarrassing that I forget the name of the lion in Aslan. For the character of Aslan, what we did was we created a large-scale lion prop, and so underneath we sort of had 5 people, and we would voice Aslan. Each of us were sort of one of the voices of Aslan, so it was a really cool production. But either way, I mean, I'm getting into high school productions. That might be annoying for some of you listening. Speaking of annoying, have you ever... Let me adjust this microphone for 1 sec. There we go. Speaking of annoying, no, that's not right. There we go. Sorry, I'm doing this on the fly. Speaking of annoying, have you ever noticed how colors in an office or school setting can really affect your mood? We have these ugly dividers at the office that separate the cubicles, and it's a light brown color. And they're boring and they're ugly. And whenever I take note that they're there, it just kind of puts me in a sour mood. Meanwhile, in the conference room, it has this really nice, lovely plant. And it has this brand new table and set of chairs that just make you feel happy and sort of productive just by stepping in there. Now, whether or not we were actually productive in the meeting, that's a different story. But at least I feel positive going in and out of there. It's kind of like the weather. On sunny days in the summer, I feel like everything is great at all times. During the winter or a gloomy rainy day, it just kind of feels like everything is a little more negative. It happens to others around here as well. Dan was actually mentioning this as well, or mentioning it to me, I think just last week. He keeps on looking over here because he knows that I'm really trying to keep it down, but if I go any lower than this, I feel like you would barely be able to hear me. But it's a nice day today, a nice day today. I think I'll go for a walk when I'm done from here, and maybe play basketball. Forgot my gym clothes as always, so maybe when I get home, I'll feel a little too lazy to actually go. That happens to everyone, right? You want to take advantage of a gorgeous day, and then when you finally get home, you feel a little too tired. I'll have to get groceries later. Let me think what I have to get. I need blueberries, apples, bananas, oatmeal, almonds, sugar, and ice cream. I love ice cream when I get home from work. Not a whole lot, maybe just a third cup, quarter cup, sometimes a half cup, I'll admit. But it's just something to sweeten up the rest of your day. I love Ben & Jerry's. I just love how interesting their flavors are. They're always they're just wacky flavors with a lot of interesting combinations. Maybe I'll reach out to them and see if they can sponsor the podcast and I get some free ice cream, because that would be a dream. I would absolutely love that. I'm also a sucker for pizza, but who isn't? Pizza's great because it's either good or great. It's really never bad. I've heard people say that they've had bad pizza. For me, it just doesn't exist. Unless it's an actual abomination, but someone who actually tries to make a quality pizza, it's almost always good or great, or somewhere in that scale, but I've never had a terrible slice. Now that talk about groceries and ice cream and pizza, it's made me hungry, and I'm still in the office, so I'll bring a snack in here sometimes, like fruit or granola bar, something like that. I'm never satisfied. When I'm done with it, I end up craving pizza or ice cream anyway, like I'm doing now. I think Dan and Trish are a little annoyed with me because they must be both getting hungry right now, and I'm only contributing to their hunger by making them think about it. Maybe I should talk about oatmeal and blueberries. Also very delicious, but not quite as appealing when I'm hungry. I really need to get off the subject. I'm going to put my foot down and I'm going to go to the gym later today, because no matter what. I think my supervisor just walked by. I don't think she noticed I was recording the podcast. But anyway, I think this might be a good place to end it just before I get in trouble. So I would like to thank you for listening to episode 134 of Sleep and Relax ASMR. You're awesome. Thanks for listening. If you have any suggestions, if you have any questions, if you have anything on your mind, you can reach the show by emailing hello@sleepandrelaxasmr.com, and check out our website, sleepandrelaxasmr.com, for some interesting content we're going to start pushing there. But that's all for now. Thanks again for listening, and take care.